So, full disclosure, I am married to a black man, and that makes all of the issues that surround Black Lives Matter more personal because I understand just what African Americans have to go through. I understand the dangers, the training that we had to give my son from the time he's been little, the conversations that we've had to have with both him and my daughter, um, to teach them how to be careful to navigate the world. So I say that to say that what happened in Buffalo is horrific. My heart goes out to all the families. It goes out especially to the survivors, because now you've seen all of the horrors that can happen, what a human being can do, all based on information that is just used to show that one race is bad and the other one is better than. And so how can we change that conversation? How can we say, this is not right, in a way that doesn't seem, and I'm trying to word my things carefully because right now I really just want to scream and curse and say so many ugly things, and I don't want to be ugly at this moment. I want to say, how can we change the conversation so that people understand that we are all human beings looking to make our way in this world, and how one race, and I'm not blaming every white person, because I know every white person is not bad, just like every black person is not bad, just like every ethnic group is not bad, but how one race managed to create this fantasy that they are superior to others, and the issues that arise from that. So even from pre-Holocaust issues where society and cultures thought that they were better than others. So how do we change that narrative? How do we have a conversation with each other that is honest? When we had the George Floyd killing and people began the Black Lives Movement, all of a sudden people are up in arms. Oh, all lives matter, and white lives matter, and blue lives matter, and that's not the point. The point is that black people are being killed at a rate that is unbelievable. Not only do they're shooting themselves, yes, nobody's denying that, but it's the fact that they're treated differently. They're treated differently by law enforcement. They're treated differently by the judicial system. They're treated differently in the prison system. And then nobody, think about this. In suburbs, when white teenagers get caught doing things, oh, they're just kids, it's a prank. But when black teenagers are caught, they're arrested. They're arrested, put in juvenile detention. Think about all of these armed people that have done stuff in the schools in Florida. Anywhere, they have been arrested peacefully. And yet, black kids have been killed over Skittles. Black kids have been killed over a toy gun. Here is this person that had an assault rifle and was still in the process of shooting, and yet they arrest him peacefully. I don't know which was the shooter that they took to a fast food restaurant because, oh, he was a white kid, he was hungry. So how do we change that narrative? How do we change the narrative to say that all our children deserve to be free? All our children deserve the right to grow up, to be an adult, have a family, raise a family, go and enjoy a park, a beach, a pool, without being threatened, without being harassed, without having the police called on them? I really don't know. So this is something that really, really bothers me. I've asked for your comments. I've asked for you to say something. I mean, I could say a lot of things, but I don't think that right at this particular moment it would help. And I would like you to put yourself in the place of people who had one supermarket in that served that neighborhood. And think about it, if that was you and you only had that one place to go, how safe would you feel? How how sure are you that it wouldn't happen again? How what would you do at this moment? I mean, there's so many inequities that have to be seen and have to be discussed. There's so many inequities in how minorities are portrayed in the movies. There's so many inequities in how people are portrayed on the TV screen. We don't see real life. I know my husband and I used to travel a lot. We've traveled to Europe, Africa, Asia, and anytime they would see my husband, the first question is, did he know this rap guy? Did he know another rap? You know, it was always the things that they saw on TV or in the movies. It was never about, how are you doing? How is life in the United States? Oh, do you know Jay-Z? Do you know Kanye? Do you know this movie star, that movie star, or a character in a TV show? So how do we begin to change those narratives that we're putting out there? Because those narratives are hurting people. The what they hear on the radio, those songs where the rap artists talk about, killing, shooting, selling drugs and all of that. You think Jay-Z is busy selling drugs somewhere? He's a billionaire. He's living his life, the best life he can. And yet these songs are being put out by all of these artists, and yet that's not the life that they lead. Or maybe they might have at one point, but they left that life a long time ago and they're into something else. So how do we change that narrative so that people understand that we are all humans trying to make it in this world, and that we don't have the right to judge anyone based on their skin color, their gender, their accent, where they came from, or where they live? And if we learn to really truly love them, each other, things might change. And we talk about churches and we talk about religion, but sometimes the most critical people go to church every Sunday, probably go during the week. I'm sure they're on some committee spreading their hate and spreading their lies. And so how do we stand up to that hatred? How do we become a country where people put love first? People put humanity first. People don't look at your skin color and decide you're not worth it, or you're not, as good as I am. And, you're allowed to comment. You're allowed to give your suggestions, because one person can't do it alone. And when you hear people saying, well, all lives matter. Yes, they all matter. You're right. They all matter. But in this particular situation, this young man went out to seek Black lives and end them. And if you see the news and you see the people that he killed, these are people that were good people. These are people that were living productive lives or led productive lives, including the police officer that was retired and tried to stop him and couldn't because he was wearing body armor. So how do we change this narrative? How do we move away from hating people based on what they look like, hating them based on what we perceive them to be without even knowing? Don't tell me you've never met someone and said, oh, I don't like that person. But then when you talk to them and you sit with them, you realize that you have so much in common. So how do we change that narrative? If you want, put a little note down there. I haven't been getting a lot of messages, but I've been reading the comments. And if you have friends, ask them to subscribe, because I would be interested in hearing what they have to say. Even if you are on the other side of the aisle of this, where you believe that you may be better than others, and tell me why. Tell me why. Again, I thank you. Be safe. Be well. Love each other, because we never know what can happen.